Alright, so this video is about beginner level keyword research for existing websites, and I'm going to cover three things. Number one is finding hidden gems. Now, these are keywords that perform really well for your site and have a lot of potential to bring more traffic. And number two, we're going to talk about modifiers, which are basically words you can add to existing keywords to find even more great long tail traffic. And number three, I'm going to talk about how you can mass produce web pages and using modifiers in your core search terms to soak up a lot of that long tail traffic. Alright, so this video assumes you already have a site that is ranking well for some core keywords and you want to get more traffic related to your core terms. The first thing you're going to want to do is go into your analytics software and take a look at the top 100 or so keywords that are driving the most conversions or revenue or page views or whatever your most important metric is. I use Google Analytics on all my sites because it's the best web analytics software and it's free. If you haven't already looked at your top 100 keywords in a while, I suggest you take 15 minutes and just go over them to get a better understanding of how people are getting to your site. Now, one interesting thing to do is to look at how well you rank for top performing keywords. And the idea here is that if you find a keyword that converts really well for you and you don't rank very well for it, you may want to put more effort into ranking well for it. You can manually look at each search, but that would take a long time, so I use some free software called Rank Checker to do it automatically. You can download this little program from SEObook.com. You'll have to register, but it's just a simple email registration and they have a lot of good information, so I recommend you try it. So let's say I'm taking a look at my top 10 keywords over here. Right now it's ranked by visits, but you could rank it by revenue per visit or conversion rate or whatever is interesting. And I'm going to go ahead and export that information to a spreadsheet. I already have it saved here, but let's just say we exported it. I'm going to copy it, and then I'm going to bring up this Rank Checker software that I've been talking about. It's actually pretty simple. You just plug in your domain name and your keywords, and it'll go through and show you how well you rank in all the three search engines, Google, Yahoo, and Bing. Since I'm entering more than just one keyword, I'm going to go to the multiple keywords section, but just to show you how this works, I could type in like my personal. That's basically a website that I worked on for a while, just kind of as a side project. So you can enter the domain and a keyword, and then hit add, and then hit start, and then it'll go and ping Yahoo and Google and Bing and see how well you're ranking. So for this particular one, I don't rank for the keyword personal shopper in the top, I think it's 50 or 100 search results, but rank number 19 in Yahoo and number 16 in Bing. Obviously this wasn't a website that I worked very hard on. You could also, like I said, enter multiple keywords. Just paste them in there and type in the domain. I'm going to go ahead and click add. Let's get rid of the one we had already looked at, and then just hit start. So this software kind of takes a while, so you're not going to get instant results, but this is the best piece of software on the web that I know of as far as automatically figuring out how well you rank for certain keywords across multiple search engines. So it's a kind of thing where you just plug in your information and let it run for a while, and then you can come back to it. And what's really interesting is you're going to find some keywords where you're making a lot of revenue per visit, or you've got a really high conversion rate on keywords where you rank, say, 9, 10, 11. And then when you have that info, you can go and focus more on those keywords, try to get your pages ranking up in that maybe 5, 4, 3, hopefully even higher, and you're going to be able to get more traffic from those key terms. Alright, so let's get into modifiers. Now, modifiers are words that are added to a core search term to focus on a specific subset of searches related to the core terms. So let's say if you have a website that sells shoes and your core search term is sneakers. You could use color modifiers like red, green, or blue to get keywords like red sneakers, green sneakers, blue sneakers. And then you can go ahead and produce pages for each of those different modified keywords. Now I've put together a spreadsheet that lists a lot of common modifiers. For example, on this tab, I've got some time-sensitive ones. For example, quick, fast, fastest, long-term, short-term, overdue, late. And I've got actually several tabs of these words that you can go through and check out, so that basically you won't miss anything, because I've done all the work for you to figure out what the most common modifiers are. And I'm going to paste. This is the URL where you can go and get the spreadsheet. It doesn't require a password or anything. You just go, and it's seoquick.com/km.xls, and you'll get the spreadsheet and you'll be able to check it all out. So yeah, on this tab we've got some transactional terms like find, get, buy, purchase, and we're going to go ahead and copy all these, start a new tab, and so now I'm going to show you what I would normally do if I wanted to examine where the opportunity was around certain modifiers, figure out which ones are most important for my niche. So let's say that I run a website that has to do with mortgages. I could type in some of my core keywords like mortgage, home loan, say mortgage calculator, and you can go on and on. And then what I do is I would just paste the core term next to all of my modifiers, and I'm going to print off a list of the modifiers again. I'm going to take my other core term and paste it in here. Take my third one and paste it in here. Alright, so I'm doing this because I'm going to do a search to find out how popular is find mortgage, how popular is get mortgage, how popular is buy mortgage. So then you just need to copy all of this data and go into the Google keyword tool. If you've never used this before, it's actually pretty simple. You can just do a search for Google keyword tool and it'll come up. So I'm going to go ahead and paste all those words into the tool, and I'm going to hit search. It's going to take a minute to think here, and then it's going to give me some information about each keyword. So for example, the keyword find mortgage, we're seeing that there are about 60,500 local monthly searches, and here my location is set to the United States, so this is really United States wide. You can see that get mortgage is actually more important than find mortgage. It gets almost twice as much traffic. And then you have something like locate mortgage, which is hardly ever used. So this will give you some really good information about what modifiers would be useful for you with which keywords, because you don't want to waste your time going after these keyword combinations unless there's actually going to be some traffic for it. Alright, so let's say you've got a long list of keywords that you use some modifiers to get. How do you go about mass producing web pages with modifiers? This is actually a really popular tactic among some of the larger sites, and basically what you need is a database of information and an engineer and probably a designer to help you work on some software that'll let you mass produce pages that rank well in search engines. Actually, when I was working for Monster.com, I led a project where we did that, so I was going to take you through what we did. We actually increased our total organic traffic by about 35% by using this tactic. So Monster.com owns a network of college-related websites. One of them is artschools.com, which are on here. And basically it was a site, and there were a bunch of them, where you could search for, let's say, a degree. I'm going to choose animation, and a location, like let's say California. And then you can hit search or find schools, and you'll see some search results that have all of those schools that meet that criteria. So this is the kind of business that works really well with geo modifiers, city names, state names. There's a lot of people doing searches for like Chicago art schools or art schools in Illinois. So what we did is, well, first we identified our cities and states, and we built a tool that would mass produce pages for each city and state. So for example, here's artschools.com/state/Illinois art schools and colleges-html. And it's just basically a list of search results. But the important thing is that there isn't any dynamic content on this page. It's all static. And if you're just not very familiar with the way websites work, basically static means it doesn't change at all. Like, you don't click on a button and hit search and the page changes a little bit. This is all text on the page that's just going to sit here. And the URL isn't dynamic either. It's just Illinois-artschools-colleges.html. It's not going to change by doing anything like clicking a button. And this is actually a really popular tactic among a lot of websites, especially for geomodifiers. If you do any search for, let's say, real estate, I'm going to type in, let's do De Pere, Wisconsin real estate. That's my old hometown. It's near Green Bay. So you've got, number one, a homes.com site, then a realtor.com site, a realestate.yahoo.com website. And these are all pages that have been mass produced on these different sites. So let's click on the first one, homes.com/realestate/WI for Wisconsin / the city name or city and then De Pere. And you would want to mass produce pages that have that really clean, well laid out URL architecture where it starts at the state, then goes down to the city. And you can do this when you've got a database where you basically build a template of one page and then kind of plug in the data. So here on their page, it looks like they've got featured listings, which is automatically populated from a database, and then you've got some for sale listings that are just populating the De Pere, Wisconsin, I guess real estate listings. And as long as you can make static pages, which basically means there's no dynamic content on the site, you're going to want to have your developers basically build a tool that'll publish the web pages probably every day. That's what we did at Monster, because that's if it's done once a day, then it doesn't matter if you update your database every now and then. You normally don't need to have updates flow out. Like for example, let's say that these people at 2194 Birch Creek Drive changed their price to $300,000 from $329,000. That's not something that needs to get updated at the minute. If the content on the page wasn't updated for a day, that's fine. That's not really going to cause any problems. And this is a really popular tactic that you can use not just for geographic modifiers, even though that is one of the most popular terms, but if you have a shopping site, you could, let's say you're selling sneakers, you could have a page just for green sneakers or a page just for green Adidas sneakers. And as long as you have a database of that information, it's pretty easy to build out hundreds, if not thousands of pages that can rank well in the search engines and soak up that long tail traffic that's so valuable.